You're listening to Top Tier Underground, the podcast that brings you music and the voice of the artist that creates it. Today we feature OhBrando, a Boise-based producer and DJ. You will love his multi-genre hip-hop influenced music so much you'll want to twist the perp and hit the yak. Be sure to subscribe to Top Tier Underground and share it with your friends. Okay, here is your host, Eric.
All right, I'm here with Brandon, OhBrando, right? What's your last? Yeah, what's your last name?
My last name, Martinez, Brandon Martinez.
Okay, that's cool.
Got some. It's not Mexican. It's Peruvian.
Oh,
my dad's Peruvian.
That's cool.
Everybody's like, "Oh, you're Mexican, huh?" No.
Have you ever been to Peru?
Yeah, I went once when I was like 5. I don't really remember. There's like a couple of places of it where I remember, but it was like super crazy awesome. Like I don't know. I guess I was a little kid, so everything was like big and like super sweet. But
yeah,
like looking back on like pictures and stuff, and like my dad goes there sometimes, and it's pretty nice. Like it's a nice place. I definitely want to like go get away there for a while. Just hang out with my grandma or something.
Yeah, man, I've always wanted to go to Peru.
Sweet.
Go to Machu
Yeah, I've
Picchu.
never. Yeah, dude, definitely. That seems crazy. I've never even been out of the country other than that.
Oh yeah.
Since then, as a little boy, but yeah, it's pretty cool. I want to go back.
Yeah,
sure.
It's a big fucking world out there. There's a lot of shit to see.
Yeah,
you know, I want to.
It's weird. It's crazy.
It's really easy to get
hopefully.
like super like it's really easy to have this one lens of what life is like just because you live in America, and the like perception of what other countries are like is so flawed. You know, it's like when you think of other countries, it's like you think of dirt roads and like broken down buildings and like
yeah, and it's like in Europe there's just like so much history and like
right.
It's just like so raw. It's just crazy like how. And like even the way like people treat each other everywhere else, like it's crazy to think about.
Yeah.
Like there's so much more going on. Like people are asleep in the other half of the world right now.
Yep.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy to think about. It's
weird concept to like grab, but it's tight.
Yeah,
it's a big world out there.
I know it, and it's kind of funny how like our problems in the United States are so minor compared to the problems in like the Congo or Egypt, where there's just all this religious unrest between different religions, and there's people killing each other just for beliefs, and it's really interesting how we get so stuck in this like bubble of safety, quote unquote, and
yeah, like there's things you like don't even realize. Like everybody at our house, we bitch about like the water pressure and like the
right.
water in the sink, like the sink in the kitchen, the water like that only comes out like it doesn't come out cold, and it only comes out like really hot, and people would like lose their mind to just know that we're like whining about that. Like,
oh yeah,
like,
I know,
man, this water is annoying, and people don't even have water or walk like 100 miles a day or something to just bring water, like a gallon of water to their
totally. Yeah, 30%
something
of
to
the
take
world.
for granted.
Yeah, the UN just released this like crazy ass study about how 30% of the world doesn't have access to clean water. 30%, dude. Yeah, 30%. I mean,
that's so bad,
and that's just clean water. Yeah, that's just clean water. Like that's something that we literally like have no perception of. Like we have no perception of what it's like to put water into a cup and get a fucking bacterial disease, like it's insane. And
and like just knowing that like I can shower in this water too, and like I can use it in my food, and like
you can cook with it and boil stuff with it and not even think about it, So but well, cool. So
definitely
that
makes you not take things for granted.
Yeah, and that has
nothing to do with it, but it's good.
Yeah, totally.
But it's important in life.
It is, man. I mean,
it's important.
It is so important because, like, I think that there's so much political unrest right now in the United States, and there's so much just ideology wars. It's like this really fucked up state right now that we're in. And I think that if people recognize that these problems are small problems that don't matter. I mean, they do for us because this is all we have, but in the grand scheme of things, it's not that big of a deal. It's like,
people tend to complain about things that are like the smallest, like, oh my God, my package from Amazon got delayed. Like,
right.
Wow, you still got it in 2 days. It didn't get there in 1 now. Like, bummer.
Yeah.
People can't even go online to order anything, which is like crazy.
Yeah. So, I know it's crazy, but it is getting better though. I don't know if you are much of a reader, but there's this dude, Steven Pinker. He's just released a book called Enlightenment Now, and just talks about how the world is like statistically getting better everywhere slowly, and it's just, we got to be patient, I guess. So.
Yeah, definitely. I'll have to check that out. I'm not much of a reader, but I like to read when things are like actually interesting to me or whatever. Like my roommate just got me this book. It's how to make it in like the new music industry.
Yeah.
And I've read like a quarter of it so far, and like some of the stuff in there is just like the best, like most vital information, and like it's easy to read about it when you like actually care, or like something that like affects you in a good way. So I guess like I'll have to check out that book. What's it called? Enlightenment
Enlightenment Now.
Enlightenment Now.
Yeah. And his name's Steven Pinker, but he's kind of like a total optimist. Yeah. He's really, and if you don't like to read, he's got a lot of YouTube videos, so you can watch it. So.
Oh, word.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. That's usually a little easier too.
Yeah. Sure. So, anyways, let's move back into music, though. That's what we're really here to talk about, right?
Word. We just go off on like a whole life tangent.
Welcome to my world, dude. This is definitely how it goes.
Yeah, dude. Same.
So you live in Boise, obviously. What got you into the scene? What got you into music?
I've like always been really big like into music, not like really like making it and all that, but like always like had so much music, like when I was a kid, like sitting on LimeWire, like downloading like every type of music I could.
LimeWire.
And then I like, dude, throwback. I wish it was that easy to get music now.
Yeah, no kidding.
My computer.
Right.
Yeah, but I just like really big into music always, and like I would like hip hop stuff, like not seriously, just like with my friends, like pretty much like every high school kid does,
Yeah.
And then like I went to college and like always was like the DJ at parties and like played music, and people like started calling me DJ OhBrando. And then I moved back to Boise and like bought a DJ board, the whole like typical story. Bought a DJ board. And then I like went to Snow Globe and was like, wow, this is dope. Like, I don't want to just keep DJing. Like, all these guys obviously make music. Cause I was like, oh man, I can just like DJ for a while. Like, cause I was like getting booked for like little tiny things or whatever. But I went to Snow Globe and then was like, yeah, I got to start making music like now. So I like just started making like a lot of like pretty much like whatever I enjoyed. House. I started making like a lot of dubstep at first, but none of it was like really good. Like it was just like a bunch of sounds like all put together and like the typical like FL Studio beats that would just like come straight across and like all that. But then I just like kind of focused on like the whole like artistry around everything, like just being an artist and like involved in the scene and like going to places and like putting yourself out there. So like really just like pretty much like after that Snow Globe trip, I kind of just was like, dang, I really like need to get involved and like do this. So like ever since that was like 2014, after 2014, 2014, like 2015, I like kind of started getting into it and going to shows. And then like the last 2 years have probably been like my biggest 2 years so far. This last year was probably like the best, like most like accomplished year I felt, like 2018, because I was playing like a lot of shows. But like that's like how I got into it, I guess, just kind of like listening, getting myself out there and like experiencing like different and people like who got brought through Boise, like even if I didn't even know who they were, like things like that. And then after I turned 21, definitely helped a lot to like be able to go to like the WOA events all the time, like Crowbar when it was there, when they were still doing stuff, and then just like other shows. So yeah, that's like kind of what like I pushed me into it, like loving music, and then like just going out there and like being out with people that like music and like going to shows.
Yeah, man. I think that's a lot of people's story.
Weird, like normal, but like, yeah, it's like kind of like the basic traditional story, but it's still cool.
It's awesome. Yeah, it's really cool. I mean, it is, but it's not, because it's a lot of traditional people's story for people that actually do get into production, right? But there's a lot of people that just go to shows for a decade and then they're like, okay, I'm going to continue being a computer engineer or whatever. So it's like, it is cool that there are people out there that get attracted to the so what about music made you want to be actually immersed into it as a producer, and like why did you decide to go that way rather than just be an attendee?
Like I really like, not like, I don't really know how to like controlling the vibe or like out like the vibe, like obvious, like just like any DJ, but like putting out like something like different and unique that people are like, oh wow, that's really cool, like something that they like already, but maybe stuff that is like new to them and that they like. And like I like being like in control of that, I guess, and like being able to like put that out there and play that for everybody. It's like one of like the coolest feelings, because you're just like, you feel like an orchestrator of music, because you are like an orchestrator of music, even though you're just like playing on these two big computer things sitting in front of you. But yeah, I just love that like feeling and like being out there and like connecting, like just playing music. It's like a really good feeling.
So who,
and like it just took from there.
Yeah. So who like first inspired you to really, like, for me, there was like, I remember one artist who I watched and I was like, okay, I need to start producing. This has changed my life. Who was that for you? Do you know?
I don't like really like no. Like, I mean, obviously like the huge, like the guys, like I saw Jack U, which was Diplo and Slicks one time, or Abby. They're not like my huge inspirations or whatever, but I saw them like both like that. It was probably that moment, and then like there was like one show here in Boise. I think it was the first show I ever went to. I don't even remember, man. I can't even like remember who it was, and like I don't even know if I had listened to their music or anything before that, but it was just like seeing them up there, and there were like wasn't even very many people. It was a show at the Red, and there like wasn't even very many people there. And like I think that might even be like why I like it even more, because I like don't even know who it was. And they were just like, there wasn't a lot of people there. Like all my friends were there. It was like my friends were like 1/8 of the crowd, and they were just like going so crazy and like just like turning everybody up that was there, even though that like there wasn't a lot of people there, and that like made everybody there have a good time. And I think like that was who it was, and I can't believe I can't even remember who it was, but like I think it was like more that like that moment and like that feeling of like that person doing that to like the minimal, like, even though they didn't sell out a show or whatever, like it was still like they were still there for the people that were there, and like to get them to enjoy it. So it was like, it was probably that. Man, I gotta think of who that was. I feel bad. But that was probably it.
Yeah, man, that's always good when, I mean, as an artist, it's so important to realize that if you can't play for a dead show, then you shouldn't be able to play for a sold out show. You know, it's like
Yeah, absolutely.
you have to go through that, you know?
Yeah, I've definitely been there. I think I've played like just my girlfriend before and like a couple other people that were there like opening for something. So I definitely know that feeling, but definitely like those are like the things you got to take for granted because like people are still going to see you. Like at least somebody is there. Even if there's nobody there, like you still get to play, which is cool. Like
Yeah.
I think that's like the biggest thing. I see
Yeah.
people like bitch about things like that. They're like, "Oh, nobody was even there." Like, you still got to play. Like, people don't always get to play.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you can get lucky or whatever, but like a million people could be there at that opening slot, but probably not. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. I know. I've played a lot of terrible shows, and like some of the most humbling ones were like shows in California or something where I thought we were like at a better point than we were, and it was like a headlining spot, and then nobody shows up, and you're like, oh shit, nobody really is gonna come see us headline because we're not headline material, you know? It's like,
yeah.
And that's a humbling moment when you think that you're at this point and you're actually still at this point, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, you really gotta like take it in as an artist. You gotta like, I guess that's like the big step too, is like you gotta figure out or like tone in like why people want to come see you, or like what'll stand out at your show for like people to remember like why you were there, I guess, or something like that. Like something different. You always gotta reel in something unique.
Yeah, I've definitely played some shows in like Idaho Falls or Twin Falls, and where it's like, you know, the scene is really just a baby little scene, and there's like 20 people there, and the party is in like some refurbished office space or something, and yeah, and then you get there and you're playing and there's like 6 people, but the 6 people are there and you're just like, fuck yeah, and you just want to
dude, they're
rage.
going crazy.
Yeah,
I had that like I played in Twin Falls last year, and I like went there with like a couple of my buddies, like didn't really know what to expect. It was at like a hookah bar, and I was like the headliner of that, and I was like, oh man, like I love Twin Falls. For some reason I love Twin Falls, but I was like, dang, like nobody's gonna be here. And there was like, I don't know, there was like a lot of people there, and I've never seen like people go that crazy like at any of my shows. Like, shout out to Twin Falls, because that was probably like the most like lit show, and it was like in a hookah bar. It was like really different, but like the people were all different, but like it was so cool.
I know, I love shows
cool.
like that.
I love Twin Falls. Yeah, I had no idea what to expect like going into it at all. Like, I don't think I'd saw like pictures or like videos from like their last show or whatever, so I was just like, let's just do it, and it was awesome. Like, I drove up there, drove back like the same night, but it was so fun.
That's
that
cool.
was, like, a really good show.
Yeah, that's cool. I like shows like that. They mix in a bunch of different people, and there's, you know, like weird hicks or something, and then there's like hip hop people and little raver kids, and
the crowd was definitely not like anything like here in Boise at all. It was like, but they were loving it. Like, it was awesome. Like, seeing somebody in like cowboy boots and like a tucked in flannel and like a chew can in their back pocket.
Right.
House music was tight. Yeah, shout out to Paul.
That's awesome. So let's talk about like your process and stuff. What software do you use? How do you get a track started and all that good stuff?
So I use Ableton. I've pretty much always been on Ableton. I used FL for like right when I first started, until like my friends figured out like how I could get Ableton. It kind of depends. Like, I'm always in different moods. Like, sometimes I'm like, I don't really feel like making music. Sometimes I like really want to, but I usually like start off and like just listen to some music, like listen to some of my favorite music right now, and just like tidy up my space because I am super picky about like in here, like it has to be really clean. But then I just kind of like, it kind of depends. Like if I'm starting a house track or something, I'll definitely start with like the drums because house drums are like super fun to make for me. And then I'll kind of just like go off of the drums and like kind of see like what feels right with the drums. But if I'm making like a more bassy track or something like that, or like not necessarily hip hop, but like if I'm making like a more bassy track, I'll try to like find some sounds or like make some sounds that I like really like or like on Serum. That's pretty much like where I start with, and then kind of like go from there, and then kind of like blend everything else in like based off like the main sounds that I'm using. But it really just depends. Like sometimes I'll just like pick apart at another song and like take parts out of that I want to use like on something else or something. I don't really like have like a one track set. Like the only thing that's like set that I do whenever I come down here to make music is to like put on music and clean. And like I have to like have this place like super clean before I start. But that's pretty much like the only, like then I kind of just go see what happens, and like whatever comes out of it like just flows well. But nothing like set except for music and cleaning. I'm
That's
really
funny.
weird about it. Yeah, I don't know why. Just like like right now, I'm like picking at stuff that's just like sitting around because it's like not as clean as I want it to be. And it's hard sometimes because like me and my buddy share this studio, so like sometimes he'll be in here and I just like sort everything back out to how I want it or whatever. And like people are like coming in here and sometimes like but it's how I want it. Most of the time.
I know I cannot write music in a dirty space either. I think that's I don't know how people do that. It makes me feel cluttered, like, and my mind is cluttered, you know?
Yeah, like if I'm like doing it, like making the mess as I'm making the music, like or like I'm doing something or like I'm like eating or whatever, like drinking a beer or something that like stacks up. Like if I'm doing it while I'm doing it, that's fine. But if it's like I'm starting back over, no way.
Yeah,
I'm like
totally.
super OCD about it. It's kind of I like it though. I'm pretty clean person anyway, so I like things like in order. It clears my head space for sure.
So what about with playing shows? What's your process of getting ready for that?
It kind of depends like what kind of show it is. Like I'm playing Woe tonight actually, and I gotta get some music and stuff ready for that. But like I'll just I like to mix up my sets a fair amount. Like I like to mix in a lot of things, but like this time I'm probably gonna play like a bunch of hip hop, like bass music, probably some of my stuff. I kind of just like find new songs that I like or like new ones that I'm liking, or like I tell my friends to just like, yo, send me some songs that you want to hear tonight. Like my friends like we call like the same music and whatnot. So I just like gather all this material, and then like I don't really ever like if I'm playing like a big show, like a headlining show, or not like or like I'm playing support for somebody or something, then I'll like really like dial in on a set, like kind of pick it apart and like really know what I'm gonna play. But if I'm just playing like a more regular set, I guess, or whatever, like I just put all the music on my thumb drive and then just play it. Like I don't if I ever like nitpick and like line up a set and like this song into this song, like for sure, like in order or whatever, it just like it makes me feel like I'm not actually playing. I'm just like practicing what I'd played before. Like I don't really like feel it as much, and I'm like super tedious about like how I do everything, and like I messed that up or something. Like that's for more so like they're more just like me playing music, like kind of just freestyle like DJing or whatever, instead of like I had this set planned, like I'm gonna play this set. And that's why I think it's like way more fun for me too, is because I like don't really know what I'm gonna like. I know what I'm gonna play, but I don't know like how I'm gonna play it or whatever. It kind of just comes. So that's why I think it's like way more fun to me, because I'm not like going in there with like a one track set, like one track mind.
Right.
But I like something like cool comes out of it, and I like it just happened.
Yeah.
And I think that's like way more fun for me too, honestly.
Yeah, I totally agree. Pre-planned sets are problematic too, because if you go into it with a certain set and then the crowd's not feeling it, what do you do? You know?
Yeah. Then what? Like,
Yeah. Are you just gonna keep beating that fucking horse, you know, and hoping that it changes?
Yeah, and you're just like, you like play the next song. You're like, look up, like, you guys like this one? Like, yeah,
Right. Yeah.
and that's like what's helped me a lot too. Is like I've always loved DJing like so much. Like playing music's so fun. So like just freestyling like DJing is like it's just like it's my favorite thing to do.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. It's really interesting, like, you know, because there's people that kind of get into production, just production first, and then later on they figure out how to play out live. And then there's people that get into DJing and then figure out how to produce. And that's kind of the way that I went, you know. And
yeah, same here.
Yeah, so the art of DJing is so awesome and crucial for me anyways. I love it. You know, it's like such a fun production is like secondary almost to DJing, but I realize that, you know, it's like if you want to get out there more and stuff, you have to be on it with production, and that's like why I produce. But DJing is awesome. Well, I like production too, but it's you know, it's just different. So
yeah, it's definitely like a different feeling. Like DJing is definitely way more rewarding. It's like you sitting in here for like hours and hours at a time, or like you picking at something forever. So it's definitely like, but playing your own tracks out is like definitely like the coolest thing ever.
Yes,
especially
if people get down.
Like that's such a good feeling. Yes, like that's like one of the best feeling, especially if you're like testing something out, or like you have something that you've been working on and you just like want to see like, and they vibe with it. Like that's like probably the coolest feeling ever for sure. I love like, or like mixing stuff in and like not even like saying that like, hey, this is my new track, or like whatever. Like you just play it and like people get down for it. Like that's super tight. I love doing that.
Yeah, totally. I agree. Yeah. It's kind of fun too, because you can, when you test out tracks, you can watch people pull back like, and then you're like, okay, what's going on? And then you realize like your hats are way too loud and it just destroyed their ears or something, you know?
Yeah, you're like, okay, I'm gonna go home and fix that one. Like, it's like a good little practice field too, especially. Plus, it's like, oh yeah, I love playing out my stuff. Hopefully I can get enough material to play like an all original set. That would be awesome. That's like the ultimate goal, obviously.
Yeah, totally. It's pretty fun to play all original sets, but I like Kendra and I used to do that sometimes, and then now it's like I'll put maybe 5 or 6 tracks in and just do, because I like there's so much fucking good music out there, dude. It's like, you know, it's hard to
yeah. Yeah, then you just like find so much cool stuff. You're like, yeah, that one's cooler than mine. I'm gonna play that.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's just crazy how much music there is now.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Yeah, there
Especially
is a
like
lot.
now getting into it. There's just like you can dive into the deep pits of like music that you've never even thought anybody would make.
Right.
Cool. I love music.
Yeah, Kendra and I found an artist a while back that's like satanic worshiping dubstep. We're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me.
I know.
It's crazy. It's crazy, like the angles like people take like for their like brand or like whatever.
Right. Yeah. People
are crazy.
What shows are you playing coming up? Are you got anything planned aside from the one tonight?
I have one in March. I don't really know if I'm allowed to like say anything about it yet,
okay.
But it's a really cool one here in Boise. Like, yeah, I'm not like, I don't know if I'm allowed to say anything or not, but end of March in Boise, it's like one of the coolest things. I'm sure if you know about the chunk of time in Boise that I'll be playing at, but other than that, I'm not really sure. The Kaleidoscope guys asked me to play something here pretty soon, but I don't think that's announced yet. But not really like anything besides that. And tonight I've played like way too many, not way too many shows, but like I played a lot of shows last year, and like I was probably like focused on everything like 50-50, like DJing, production. But this year I'm definitely trying to be like nitpicky about what I play, like if I like can be nitpicky about it or whatever, but like just way more specific on what I play to like showcase myself instead of just like overdoing it like I'm playing a show like every month or every couple of weeks or whatever. I'm definitely just trying to like focus on my production like this year, like, and dial that in and like really get that going. So I'll probably like focus on like 90-10, probably. Like I need out on the shows, but I shows or two every once in a while.
Yeah, it's important to take a step back sometimes, for sure, you know.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna dial in on like my artistry as opposed to just DJing.
Well, how can people find you to keep up on that stuff?
I have SoundCloud, Spotify. My music's on Spotify, Apple Music, whatever you use, I guess. It's all on there. I'm usually pretty active on like Instagram and Twitter. Those are like, I've found like really good outlets to just like meet new people and like get new fans and like new people interested. Yeah, pretty much like everything. OhBrando on everything. I love the internet. I use it too much sometimes, but you can find me pretty much. You can find me everywhere on the internet.
Cool.
Sure. OhBrando,
awesome.
Everything.
Okay, dope. Well, I appreciate it. I'm going to pause this really fast, and then listeners can check out your mix. So hang on just 1 second.
Word dog. Sounds good.
I won't float, I'd rather free. I'm lost and I'm found, but it's torture being in love. I love when you're around, but I fucking hate when you leave. You leave, you leave, you leave, you leave, you leave. Hate when you leave.
Banging. racks on new chain. My bitch love do cocaine. Ooh, I fuck a bitch, I forgot name. I can't bob in the weather rain. Rather go and bob on main. Gucci gang, Gucci gang, Gucci gang. Gucci gang, Gucci gang, Gucci gang, Gucci gang, Gucci gang, Gucci gang, Gucci gang. Spent 3 racks on new chain. My bitch love do cocaine. Ooh, I fuck a bitch, I forgot name. Yeah, I can't buy no in the weather rain. Ooh, rather go and bob on main. Hey, Gucci gang, Gucci gang, Gucci gang. Gucci gang, Gucci gang, Gucci gang, Gucci gang, Gucci gang, Gucci gang, Gucci gang. Gucci gang, Gucci gang, Gucci gang, Gucci gang, Gucci gang, Gucci gang, Gucci gang. Gucci gang, Gucci gang. Gucci gang, Gucci gang. Gucci gang, Gucci gang.
I'm a shooter like I'm Pepe. Bitch tryna rob me, make her dance, Michael Jackson. We was partying, y'all was tryna get the packet. Get the packet, you get robbed for a fraction. I'm the ticket, I don't think you want no action. You want action, you get turned into Pepe. You want street one, bitch, that's just a joke.
It's in my head, it's in my head. Shit, it's in my head, it's in my head. Whoa, it's in my head, it's in my head. Damn, it's in my head. It's in my head. It's in my head, it's in my head. Shit, it's in my head, it's in my head. Whoa, it's in my head, it's in my head. Damn, it's in my head. It's in my head.
That's a 3 for your 6 for you phony little hoes. Say you cheat, chopping bricks, no one coming to your phone. Ask me why I'm talking, you ain't coming to the show. Off a G in a mix, baby, tell me come right home. Bounce, seconds, wasted on the old piece. Fuck it, spend it, money I ain't having. Talking in this, meet me on a mattress. Send another address, forget about the last cent, ho. It's in my head, it's in my head. It's in my head, it's in my head, hey. It's in my head, it's in my head. It's in my head, it's in my head, hey.
It's in my head, it's in my head. Shit, it's in my head, it's in my head. Whoa, it's in my head, it's in my head. Damn, it's in my head. It's in my head, it's in my head. Oppa want me dead. Proper when I'm in, get some Whopper, let it drip. Knowing nigga been depressed. Shit, that's why I flip it for the flipper, I'm the man. I just need some paper though, pay the full slave for that. Ooh, peso, angel flow, angel those, watch your back. Damn, scrape those, play the full, take it back, fade to black. Then skin go, beat the beat, eat my lips, curve a hole. This rainbow, say what?
I just feel the sweet.
All right, thanks for listening. And be sure to check out our Facebook page, Instagram, all the socials. We really appreciate you listening every week and subscribing. Be sure to check out next week because we have Spoken Bird doing a super dope, super special Valentine's Day mix, and it's so fucking good. I just listened to it last night, and I'm like so fucking stoked about it. So be sure to check that out. Also, the month of March is Vibe Digital Month, which is going to be a special release where we're going to feature only Vibe Digital artists for all of March. So stay tuned for that. Check out some Wave. Get on it. Much love, everybody. Peace.